Many students have asked me that these tools and technique are creating a lot of problem. Although tools and technique are not that important that they used to be in 2020, but still it is very important as a project manager to know which tool to use and which technique to use. PMP 6th edition and PMP 7th edition has divided tools and techniques, and there are like 130 tools and technique into groups, and then there are some tools and technique that are in the form of groups. Now through this tools and technique series, we will go through first group series. Some of them has like 9 tools and technique, and some of them has more than 24 tools and technique. So I will try to cover from 8 to 10 tools and technique in one video if those tools and technique are simple or straightforward. If some tools and technique need more time, we can give them more time. The purpose is that you understand them once for all. Okay, so the today tools and technique are data gathering tools and technique. Now, as the name suggests, data gathering tools and technique is all about how you gather data. Now, data is very important. When the data comes to as a project manager, then you can work on it. Data can be in the form of requirement, data can be in the form of risk, data can be in the form of quality assurance, and any form of data that you require. And remember this thing, work performance data that is produced in execution, it goes as an input to all monitoring and control. So these tools and technique actually are used almost everywhere. There are some specific locations they are also used. I will also mention them. First of all, expert judgment, also known as subject matter expert. Now this is one of the most used tool and technique in the entire PMP. Whenever there is an issue, ask the expert. You want to identify risk, talk to expert. You are unable to solve the solution, talk to expert. In agile as well as in predictive, the expert judgment is one of the most used tool and technique. You use them whenever you want to get information, whenever you want to take a decision, whenever there is something you don't understand. So expert judgment. Then interviews. Now interview is data gathering technique. This is mostly one-to-one information. The purpose of carrying out interview is to get the confidential information. You see, these coffee shops and these things, why they are so successful? When there is one-to-one interactions, we become more easy and we share information which otherwise we may not share it. So it's a very good technique whenever you want to get information, whenever you want to learn someone. Like when we call as a mentor, one-to-one mentor, that's also there because you can learn this thing in a fast and rapid pace from someone who already have data. So most of the time we have interviews with the experts. So many tools and technique work together. Brainstorming, one of the most important technique that we use in the corporate sector. Brainstorming. So whenever there is a storm in the brain, what happens? You generate ideas. So this is idea generation technique. Like दिमाग की बत्ती जलना, like the idea just came into your mind. So that is a brainstorming technique. Now there are various ways how you execute a brainstorming technique. One of the most important thing about brainstorming is that it is always led by a facilitator. It is time box, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, in which ideas are generated. If the ideas are generated in a random way, so that is free form of brainstorming. If people are sitting in the round and they are giving ideas one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. For example, people are sitting like this, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and one by one, one by one, one by one, they are giving ideas. That is round robin. Then we have brain writing, the type of brainstorming. We give a specific time in which people write down the ideas. Now, they can write the ideas before the workshop, or within the workshop we give them some time and they write down their ideas on sticky notes, then we categorize them. With the brainstorming, we always use affinity diagram. Affinity diagram is the categorization. Now ideas are generated, they are scattered, they are not linked. So we use affinity diagram to link them, to categorize them. For example, if you have many shirts, you categorize the shirts as small size, large size, medium size, XL, double XL. My t-shirt is medium size. Okay, so affinity diagram. Now, focus group. Focus group is also a very special type of idea generation technique, or you can say that interview technique. That is a variation. In focus group, 8 to 12 subject matter experts or experts, they sit together, and it is led by a facilitator. It is time box and ideas are generated. Now focus group can be used for anything: to collect the data, to identify risk, to discuss an issue, to work on something. Any specialized high level meeting when occurred, that is mostly a focus group. And most of the time when a new product is being formed, we make a focus group to understand it in a better way. Okay, so focus group, this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done. I hope this is making sense to you. Then check sheet and checklist. So checklist is simply, you have made a, I have made a checklist. This is done, this is not done, done, not done. Whenever you want to sequence the process, whenever you want to see whether this thing is present or this thing is not present, you use checklist. Tick, cross, present, not present. Most of the time we use checklist when we are going on a trip, we are going on anything. For example, if my student has an exam tomorrow, I have made a checklist. Okay, before one day I need to send him these specific documents, these specific video, then I need to have a one-to-one conversation with him to explain him what he can expect in the exam. So that's my checklist. So that check sheet is more of a, you are counting number of defects. You are taking the data and counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is more of a check sheet, tally sheet used for gathering data and ensuring that how much things are there. It can be used, actually it is mostly used in quality assurance and quality control. The quality topic, this is mostly used in the entire PMP. It is only used there. Checklist can be used even in the forming of a project charter, forming of a project management plan, of also for quality. Now market research. We do market research especially when we are doing prototyping, when we are collecting the data, when we are getting the information, then market research is needed. How much this is done? Hey, I am doing this journey video after doing, this tool and technique video after doing the market research. Like I saw from my comments, from Andy Romdale's comment, from everybody. I read everybody comments, what people needs most, what they are asking. I received hundreds of comments. Yeah, we want to understand tools and technique after the journalist videos. We need some in-depth tools and technique. So I did my market research and here we are. So this is market research to find out how the market think about this thing. Okay. Next is questionnaire and survey. So if you go to a restaurant, they gave you a card. How did you like our services from 0 to 1, from dissatisfied to extremely satisfied? So they are getting surveys. So when we want to gather data from large audience, very important thing, interview is 1-to-1, focus group is 8 to 12. Questionnaires and surveys, whenever the exam says we want to get gather data from the large audience, then we use questionnaires and survey, a very important thing. Now we use them a lot. Statistical sampling, this is also used in actually quality. What happens, let's say we have 10,000 products, okay, let's say 10,000 these airports. Now we cannot check each of them. So by statistics, we say, okay, we will check after each 100 one piece, or after each 1,000, whatever the ratio the team decided, whatever the benchmark standard is. After these, we are going to check over things and see how things are. So these are 9 tools and technique. I try to explain in the simplest form. I hope you are able to digest it. I hope you are able to understand it. So do tell me the feedback. What do you think about that? What else apart from tools and technique? What else is something that is confusing you and you would like me to come with a board and explain you? So which topic you like me to explain things? And if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to it. My commitment is increasing day by day. We are going to put these tools and technique videos. Do watch those journeys videos. If you have not watched, we have more than 118 coaching calls in which we solve hard questions of PMP. Do watch those. Then we have lesson learned from the successful PMPs. All these things are free of cost. So do subscribe this channel and share it with other aspirants so that they can gain the information. And if you haven't done PMP training, our batch is actually going to start on 15th of October. That is one day left, and actually I only have one spot. So if you have not joined, you can join in the program and you will become certified PMP within 1 month. This is the success which we have, and this success which we can carry on forward. I have a success rate of 99.1 with 193 certified PMP as of 13th of October. So be blessed, become certified PMP. If you do tell me. I would love to record your journey. Till then, bye bye. And welcome to Tools and Techniques series. Today we are going to discuss data analysis technique. How you are going to analyze the data. There are various techniques to do that. From PMBOK 6 to PMBOK 7, for 25 to 29 tools and techniques are there. And I have put some of the tools and technique here, and we are going to discuss them one by one. The purpose of this video is that you understand these tools and technique. Remember, in the PMP exam, in the 2021 or after 2022, 2023, you don't need to memorize tools and technique. You don't need to remember ITTOs, but you must understand these tools and technique for PMP, and you must understand for your real life. So let's talk about alternate analysis. Alternate analysis, as the name suggests, alternate mean you have two options. Option A, option B. Which option to choose? Should I go towards this option or should I go towards that option? Now this is the most beautiful tool and technique, I would say, that we are all the time using it. Now let's say you are going somewhere. There are two ways to go there. Maybe you go by bridge or you go by under the bridge. Whatever the way is to go somewhere. Or let's say you are in UAE, you want to go to maybe let's say US. So should you go by Fly Dubai? Should you go by Emirates? Alternate analysis. So alternate analysis always goes hand to hand with cost benefit analysis. Most of the time in the PMP, whenever we are doing alternate analysis, whenever we are comparing two options, option A with B, we are normally concerning about what are the cost of a particular option or to what are the benefit of the particular option. Now this can come as cost to benefit or benefit to cost. Whatever the thing is, that always understand that both have same meaning. The only difference is that if we put benefit to cost, the greater it is, the greater than 1, the better it is. If cost to benefit, it will become the reverse of that. So coming back to the point, two options, we compare their what is their cost to benefit, and then we choose the alternate analysis accordingly. So here are two tools technique for you. Okay, so as I move in these tools and technique, I will start cutting them. Guys, remember something. Now these videos, I need them to be extremely interactive. I don't want this to be a push communication. I want it to an interactive communication. So if any of this tool and technique you don't understand, you put down in the comment from wherever you are watching it. Ask me the question and I will be more than happy to answer you that. Then come back decision tree analysis. Okay, now decision tree analysis is an extension to expected monetary value. In decision tree analysis, we basically have two options. First of all, what is expected monetary value? Expected monetary value is risk, basically risk, probability into impact. We calculate what is the probability of something happening, and if that thing happen, what will the impact. Now, if for the positive risk, the answer becomes positive in the dollars. For the negative risk, it becomes the negative answer. So in decision tree, normally we are comparing two options. The classical example is that should we make it in-house or should we buy it from outside? So option A and option B. We calculate probability and impact of both option, and whichever has the higher answer, we will go towards that option. If you look at closely, actually benefit to cost, expected monetary value, and alternate analysis, all these three are actually being used to compare one or two things and to go to find out the reason. This rhythm you will find out in the entire analysis technique. The analysis is to go to the problem, to explore the option and see which option is more beneficial for you with a different way. In alternate analysis, we can compare qualitatively, we can compare the look of a material, we can compare two colors, like I want to color this this background, I make it white or black? That's an alternate analysis. Whereas when you use alternate with benefit to cost, you are comparing what is the benefit to cost. If you are using decision tree analysis, you compare the expected monetary value of two things. Okay, I hope this is clear. Decision tree analysis. The next is very straightforward, document analysis. Now, this technique is specifically used. Also, I'm gonna, like, these techniques can be alternate analysis whenever you are comparing. Cost to benefit analysis is basically, especially in the business case area, this decision tree is used in quantitative risk analysis. Document analysis is specifically used in identifying risk, identify stakeholder. It can be used at many other areas in quality, manage quality in other areas, but stakeholder analysis and identifying risk, this is very important because we are reviewing the document. We can also review the same document while closing the project. So very important technique. Through this technique, we go through all the documents, whatever the documents that are there in the start of the project. We go through those documents and we review them, we analyze them, we see, okay, what are the things that we need to go through. Always remember, whenever you are using document analysis, it always goes hand to hand with other techniques. Like you are reviewing a document, what you want to review. Are you comparing benefit to cost here? Are you comparing expected monetary value? How you are reviewing the document. So whenever you are going through the documents, you always use other techniques hand in hand with that. So that's it about document analysis. Okay. Next, influence diagram. Another technique that is mostly used in quantitative risk analysis, but can also be used in collecting requirement. Okay, like influence diagram. Let me give you a little bit idea of influence diagram. Let's say there are activities A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. Now, which of them is the most influential activity? Put down the answer in the comment. Which of the activity you think is most influential? So you see, the activity that is most influential is the one that has most linkage. So this becomes the most risky activity. This becomes the most influential activity. Influence diagram basically rate the risk. It rate which of the activities are more risky, more prone to risk, and which activities need or more attention. So that is influence diagram for it. Okay. So that is also clear. I hope so. The next one is very straightforward. It belongs to procurement area, make or buy analysis. Now this is the start of the procurement journey. When you are working on this, like, should I make it myself or should I buy it? Now there are various things that goes in hand to hand when you are considering should you make it or should you buy it. Few of those things are like whether it will be cost effective, again going back to the cost benefit analysis, or it will be cost effective make or buy. Can we even make that quality that is available outside? Do we even have the skills? Do we even have the time? Or do we even want to make? So in make to buy analysis, we consider all these factors. And once we have done the make to buy analysis, then we can basically start the next process in procurement, specifically using procurement. Some of the techniques are very specific to the area, so it do help to understand and correlate them, why these techniques are being used. But again, you must know the context of the technique. I'm a big fan of the context, why this thing is being used. If you can understand the context of something, I don't think so that anything become difficult for you. The next thing is process analysis, a very beautiful technique. Now, as the name suggests, process analysis, this is used in managed quality. Most importantly, you can say in the quality process, where you are looking at the process. Remember this thing. Control quality is all about checking the deliverables, how the deliverables have been produced. Whereas managed quality is all about checking the process, ensuring that the process is good or not. So 2-3 things we use. We use control chart to control the process. We use them to for the process analysis. Then we use value stream mapping, where we map the entire steps for the value. And also we use a technique known as SIPOC, where we check the entire process. Who are the supplier? Is the issue from them? What are the input going into the process? The process itself, output, customer, supplier, input, process, output, customer. We are reviewing all these things to see where the issue lies. We actually use this with in Agile. We can also use this in Agile when we are trying to do the system lean. Lean is all about waste removal. So we map what are the value added area and what are the non-value added area. Okay, so we map value added area and non-value added area, and we try to eliminate non-value added area by making the flow more easy. So it can be used in lean as well as in lean, agile, or in a normal process. So you can do various things with process analysis. You can do audit, you can do control charts, you can do Pareto for process analysis, you can do SIPOC. So all these techniques are used to analyze the process in a particular way. Hey, this regression analysis, the next technique, can also be used for process analysis. But regression analysis specifically is used in the closing of the project. When you are closing the project, we use regression analysis by changing one variable and saying how it correlates with the other variable. It is near to the scatter diagram, in which we are trying to correlate the variance analysis. We are trying to find out how things has happened, what are the things we have gained, what we have lose, how variables are dependent on one, how variables are independent on one. So that was regression analysis. Oh, I started using black pen here. Okay, the next technique is risk quality data assessment. So guys, I'm sure you must be thinking I'm not going into a very detail of these tools and technique. Yes, I'm not, because the reason is that you don't have to. When you see a word of a tool and technique, you must understand what does that mean, where does that technique is used, how I can use it, how it can be used in the question. And through this small explanation, I am trying to give all the answer. But still, if you think something is not clear, I am saying it again. You can put in the comment and I will be more than happy to answer it. Risk quality data assessment. You see, when we have identified the risk, again, as the name suggests, it is used in the risk. When we have gathered the data to identify risk, we want to go into deep to analyze the qualitative analysis and then quantitative analysis. But if the data on which we are performing all these things, if that data is skewed, if that data is fabricated, if that data is not accurate, then the whole risk process will become useless. Then the entire risk process can be jeopardized. In order to overcome this thing, in order to make sure that whatever we are doing has value, we check all the risk thing. We check that we are performing. We do risk data quality assessment. We make sure that all the things, all the data is of quality, is of high quality. We review document analysis. We ask it to expert judgment. We try to make graphs to see, maybe through control charts, see and put the values of the data through various ways. The purpose is that we check our data. The data is not skewed. Okay. And next, again, for risk analysis, sensitivity analysis. So sensitivity analysis is also called as tornado diagram. Sensitivity analysis goes like this. Let's say if a fire occurred right now where I'm standing. If a fire occurred, now fire is one event. How that event will happen to all other activities, all other risks. Okay, first my paper will burn, then maybe my board will burn, then maybe the camera I'm using that will burn, then the other thing, then the building structure, then this. So through sensitivity analysis we are checking how the same event have effect on different things, how the same risk is affecting different things. So this is called as sensitivity analysis and tornado analysis. I love to give an example. Let's say you have 4 to 5 child. If a winter come, it is winter right now, so which of them will get sick first? He is more sensitive or she is more sensitive. Then the second one, then the third one, then maybe your wife, then maybe you. So that's basically sensitivity analysis for you. Okay? Achha, next is basically stakeholder analysis. As the name suggests, we perform that in the stakeholder. Now stakeholder analysis can be done in various ways. One of the way, once you get the stakeholder, you categorize the stakeholder as upward stakeholder, downward stakeholder, inward, outward. That is an analysis. Then putting the stakeholders onto as more of a upward, downward. That is that. Then putting them into power interest grade. Okay, putting them power interest and making sure the high power, low power, making them satisfied. So that is a power interest grade. That's a stakeholder analysis. And the name suggests analyzing the stakeholder, checking their power interest, stakeholder cube, stakeholder matrix, checking their current engagement, desired engagement level. So this is done in the identification of stakeholder. Technical performance analysis, a very interesting technique. Now put down in the comment box where do you think this technique is used. It's a very interesting technique. This technique is actually used in monitor risk. In monitor risk, we are trying to check the performance of the vendors, trying to check the actual performance which has been occurred after implementation of the risk, after the happening of the risk, how the reserves are left, how the work has been done. So this is checking the real performance because of the risk, how it has been occurred. So technical performance analysis. The next one is one of my favorite. It is used in all of the monitoring and control process. All of the monitoring and control. It is used in the closing. Variance analysis. Variance monitoring and control is nothing. What you planned, executed, comparing plan with actual. That's how work performance data get converted into work performance information. So we are comparing the performance planned versus actual, and we are doing variance analysis. It basically tells you where do you stand, all those SPI, CPI, data into information. The purpose is we are doing variance analysis, one of the most important technique. Okay guys, I hope these techniques are clear to you and there is no confusion about this thing. So in the next video, we will discuss about these techniques, how these techniques can be understandable, and till then, thank you very much. Become certified PMP. Hello and welcome back to data analysis technique part 2. Now, so let's start from where we left in the previous video. Assumption and constraint analysis. Assumption is anything that we consider true without any, you can say, a proof. And constraint is anything that is limiting. In the project, scope, time, cost, quality, resource, risk, these are the constraint. So we make assumption and constraint log. Assumption and constraint register, you can say, but the better term is to assumption and constraint log. So in this area, we go through these assumptions one by one, we look them, we analyze them, maybe do root cause analysis and see whether they are valid or they are not valid. So that is assumption and constraint analysis. We do them at identify risk. Specifically, we do them at identify risk. We can also do at other areas. Next technique is one of the most important technique we use at the plan quality. When we are planning the quality, what is the cost we are willing to pay for the quality? What is the cost we are willing to pay for the quality? Now that cost must be included in the quality management plan. There are two types of cost of conformance. Okay, conforming the product, money spent to avoid failures. It is money spent to avoid failures. Then cost of non-conformance, money spent due to failures. Now that can be rework, that can be defects or liability, warranty costs, things like that. It contains trainings, uh, internal testings, things like that. A very important topic. Cost of quality. How much you are willing to pay for the cost of quality. Interestingly, so I want to make this video of quality, so that's why I put lines. I am using these markers, I am using these papers, so I am putting the cost there also in the time. So how much I am willing to pay for a quality. So there has to be a balance. Okay, there has to be a balance how much I am willing to pay. Okay, that is cost of quality. It varies from project to project and things like that. For example, if I have to explain a topic or only one technique, I would have used one paper explain the entire techniques, but my goal is to give you all the techniques, so I'm going one by one. I put it all there and explaining you in that way. And document analysis, oh, it is repetitive. We already discussed here. Document analysis is going through all the documents and reviewing them, what is in there. It is used everywhere, even in identify risk and stakeholder register. Earned value analysis. Now you will get a question regarding earned value analysis in the exam, specifically SPI and CPI. Now if you remember earned value analysis chart was more of like this thing. So you have planned value, and so this is the planned value, this is actual cost, this is earned value. So you need to calculate schedule performance index, that is earned value divided by planned value, or CPI, cost performance index, earned value by actual cost. The performance of schedule can be also variance, earned value minus planned value, or performance of cost. Okay, earned value minus actual cost. Understand this thing for exam. Greater than 1, even in the variance, positive variance of greater than 1 is a good thing. Equal to 1 or 0 variance is okay. Less than 1 is the bad thing. This is the fundamental thing you must know about the schedule variance, schedule performance index, cost performance index. You will get a question in the exam in a one way or another way. So if you understand this thing, greater than 1, less than 1, you are good to go. Okay, and if you have to calculate estimated completion, this formula, budgeted completion divided by CPI, is more than enough you need for the exam. You will not get any other question regarding PCPI and other things. Okay, so earned value analysis is done. The next is iteration burn down chart. Now this is more used in, actually only used in ADA. Burn down chart is basically a data analysis technique. It can be burn up. So I'm gonna go from both burn down and burn up. Let's say this is 100 user stories. We are using a sprint of 2 weeks, so 10 days. This becomes your ideal burn down chart. Ideal burn down chart that you will be able to complete all the user story on this day. You started on the day 1 as planned. I'm putting here 80, 50, 20. As you are you perform on day 2, you are doing very good. So actually, when the actual burn down chart, this is actual burn down. This is ideal. This is actual. When actual burn down chart is downside, it's a good thing. Why? If I extrapolate it, let's say on the day 3, you also moved here. So if I extrapolate it, I will be able to complete the work earlier than the planned. So if the burn down chart is downside, this means the burn down chart is downside, variance is positive. The burn down chart is downside, the variance is positive. Okay, let's say this is the variance. Or if the burn down chart is upside, okay, let's say this is the burn down chart. then I will not be able to complete the work. Then variance is negative, very important. Burn down chart. At any time, burn down chart, the data representation and data analysis technique to see where do we stand and will we be able to complete the work in that iteration. Similarly, we have burn up chart. Burn up chart is basically a reverse of burn down chart. It shows like how much work we have done. This shows how much work is remaining. Okay, this shows how much work is done. This is burn up chart. As we move up, if we are at the downside, this means we will not be able to complete the work. If I extrapolate it, we need more time, okay, to complete the work. If the graph is on upside, this means we will be able to complete it earlier. Reverse of that, exactly reverse of that. An additional feature that a burn up chart has over burn down chart, let's say the scope is 100 story point, and at any point the scope is added and it becomes 120 story points. So that can be showed in the burn up chart, it cannot be showed in the burn down chart. Okay, so you can also use burn down chart to represent risk, how much risk is left, and if the risk is going down, you can easily know that you are managing a risk properly. Okay, then we have performance reviews. So that we do in the control team, in the managed team, we review the performance of the team. In control procurement, we review the performance of the suppliers, we review those reports. Then proposal evaluation. This happens in conduct procurement. Once they have submitted the proposal, we evaluate them. We evaluate on our cost benefit analysis, this one. On the quality analysis, or we check the quality is okay or not. All these criteria are used to evaluate the proposal, and we consider it whether we are going with them or not. The next after that becomes reserve analysis. How much reserves are left? Again, this is used in monitor risk. The reserve analysis is basically calculating how much reserves are required. Actually, you can also use the same technique in identify risk, how much reserve you need, or plan risk response. Yeah, plan risk response, or even in cost when you're managing cost baseline, but mostly in managing monitor risk. So reserve analysis, we check how much reserves are left or how much reserves are needed for each activity. We have two reserves: contingency reserves for known unknown, the risk we have identified. Known unknown means the risk we have identified, and we put the contingency reserves in the activities. Then we have management reserves for unknown risk, and the management put it, if we want to use it, we need to go through change control board and get it in the system. Okay, then of course risk probability into impact matrix, as we used in the earned value calculation. What is the probability of something happening, and if that thing happen, what will be the impact of that. One of my favorite tool and technique is root cause analysis. So going to the bottom of the problem, why this problem has occurred, what is the base of this problem when this problem has occurred. Root cause analysis can be of two types majorly: 5 why, asking why this problem occurred, why this, keep on asking why on a particular problem. It leads us to the bottom of the problem or going to the root. If you consider what is root cause, basically you are going under the tree, you are going under the tree and looking at what really problem is. So 5 why, or you can also use fishbone diagram, where the problem is put here and people, process, business, environment, other factors are put here, and we call it as a cause effect diagram, Ishikawa diagram, 5 bond diagram. The purpose is to ask why. We can also use failure mode effect analysis, that's also a root cause analysis, post-mortem technique, pre-mortem technique. The purpose is to find the root cause analysis. Okay, to go to the root cause analysis. Guys, I uploaded a video how to do the root cause analysis of all the questions. If you are preparing for PMP exam, you must do root cause analysis of each and every question. Then simulation, we use Monte Carlo simulation to find what is the again quantitative risk analysis. What is the probability of something of achieving the goal in this cost or in their schedule. So simulation is used there. Okay. SWOT analysis. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? These are internal. What are the opportunity in the market, and what are the threats? An important technique you use in identifying stakeholder, managing stakeholder, and most importantly, identify a risk. Trends. So since after the COVID-19, everyone knows that what is trend. The trend is going upward or trend is going downward. How the trend is going. So we use them in control, in monitoring and control entire process to see how things are, where we are moving with the schedule, cost, scope, changes. So trends are used. What if analysis? If you're a fan of comics, Marvel just released their what if series. So what if is basically again identifying risk technique in which we identify what if this happens, what if this happens. So we keep on doing them to identify the risk. So these are some of the quantitative risk. These are some of the data analysis technique that I have explained in video 1 and in video 2. And if you have watched both of these videos, I am sure you do not need to read anything else. Just review these videos, maybe take notes. Your understanding about these data analysis will be more than required for your PMP exam. And if you have any question, please put in the comment. Your comments are oxygen to me. I would love to answer your whatever the questions you have. Do like this video, share this video, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel, because our commitment to YouTube is increasing on day by days. More polls, more status, short videos, full videos, journalist videos, coaching call, web episodes. So if you have not subscribed, this is the best time to subscribe. I hope you will consider it and subscribe it. And if you haven't done PMP, you can contact us and we will make sure you become certified PMP. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello and welcome back to Tool and Techniques series. Now we have discussed two group. Third is data representation technique. Now data representation means how you present that data format. How you present that data formats. In what ways data can be presented. Mostly it is used in stakeholder, in quality, in risk. So let's explore these tools and technique. We are going to discuss 11 tools and technique. And in these 11 tools and technique, we will see how they are gonna work. So a format suggested by one of my students, we are gonna go to this format. What is the tool and technique? What is their purpose? Where it is used in which domains and how you can use it. Affinity diagram, number one tool and technique. The word affinity, whenever you see the words affinity, it means categorization of something. Like in agile we use small t-shirt sizing, large, medium. So affinity diagram is basically used whenever you use brainstormings, ideas are generated, they are scattered all over the way. You want to categorize them so that you can understand it belongs to which category, which area, and manage them properly. You see, uncategorized, things scattered, they cannot manage properly. So that's why we use affinity diagram. Now, of course, it is used in managed quality where we get the results of defects and we categorize them in various areas. It can be used in agile as a estimation techniques, small t-shirt size, medium and large. So that's affinity diagram for you. Then next one is cause and effect diagram. One of my favorite. Cause and effect diagram has various names. Fishbone diagram, Ishikawa diagram, okay, or root cause analysis diagram. You make a fishbone like this. At the head of this fishbone, you write down what is the problem. You write down the problem. What is the problem here? At the head of the fish. Okay. Here you write cause. What is the cause? What is the effect? Cause, effect. Normally the standard is use people. People can be the causes and the effect by them. Process, equipment, environment, these are the general causes. So this is used to go to the root cause of the thing, to find out the reason why a particular defect exists and how we can remove them. So cause and effect diagram. Next is control charts. This is actually used in quality as well as identifying the risk, to go to see where the problem exists, and actually it can be used anywhere to find out why the risk exists, why the risk is occurring again and again, why the stakeholder is not happy, why the communication has problem. Anywhere this can be used. Cause and effect diagram. Control chart specifically belong to quality. They are used to control the process. So you have a upper control limit, you have a lower control limit, and you have a median. Normally upper control limit is 3 sigma. As you know, 6 sigma is a quality tool that how much you are efficient in your process. Out of 1 million, there are only 3.4 defect in the process would be 6 sigma. So 3 sigma, I guess 99.3%, plus 3 sigma and minus 3 sigma. You make a control chart, you can have any limit, whatever you want. So you track down the points. If the points are within these control limit, upper control limit, lower control limit, we say that the process is within the control. If any point goes outside, we say that they are special cause and they need to be investigated. One important thing in the control charts, that is called rule of 7. If consecutive 7 points are either side of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mean, either upward or downward, we still see that the process have a problem, and that is called rule of 7. We need to investigate that. We need to see what is the problem in these things. So that is control charts for you, specifically used to control the process, to see the limits, how we are working. It is highly used in the process industries to see and identify where the defects in the projects lies and how we can work on them. The next is flow chart. Again, used for quality. Now, this is basically sequence of steps. It's as simple as this sequence of steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So it shows the sequence of steps. My journey videos are all kind of flow chart or mind map showing the flow. This is the step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, things like that. So flow charts. Okay. So I guess the flow chart is clear. The next is hierarchical chart. Now hierarchical chart are your organizational chart, organogram. Can be used in resource, or can be used in stakeholder, can be used in quality. This matrix diagram. Now matrix diagram can be any type of diagram in which we use matrix, like Excel file. Now this is used a lot in multiple areas. Whenever you want to take a decision that is a multi-criteria, you use matrix diagram. You use requirement traceability matrix is kind of a matrix diagram. RACI chart, responsible, accountable, consult, inform, is a type of a matrix diagram. So wherever you want to make a matrix and you want to track, you will use matrix diagram. A very powerful tool and the one you must master. Mind mapping. So I don't think so. If you are my constant viewers, you know what is mind mapping. I'm a guy who is a big fan of mind mapping. Mind mapping is something that connect the dots just like a tree to understand the information. Then the next is, of course, the topic belongs to risk, probability and impact matrix. What type of probability and impact matrix are you going to use? Are you going to use 3 by 3 matrix? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 5 by 5 matrix. Depending upon the organization, you use your matrix and you use it for qualitative risk assessment, specifically used in qualitative risk assessment to rank the risk. So guys, you have gathered all the risk and you want to rank them, you want to categorize those risks. So we use probability and impact matrix for that particular purpose. Specific tool using only in risk. Okay, but you see, this was not specific, this was kind of not specific, this was not specific. You can use flowchart anywhere, but you use in quality. Control chart is a specific tool. Hierarchical chart is a specific tool used only when you have to show hierarchy in organograms or things like that. Matrix diagram extreme specific. Mind mapping not specific. Probability impact not specific. Scatter diagram, a quality tool that is extremely specific, used to show relationship between two variables x and y. So if we increase x, how the y will be affected. If there is a correlation, always remember the word correlation, dependency between two variables. If by increasing x, y increase, we say positive correlation. If by increasing x, y decrease, okay, we say negative correlation. If by increasing x, y has no effect, we say no correlation. So a quality tool used to identify like why this defect occur. If I change it according to this, what will happen? So a data representation tool, scatter diagram, a correlation is a keyword for this tool. Stakeholder engagement matrix. Of course, a specific tool used in stakeholder engagement in order to see current engagement level of stakeholders. Okay, so okay, if I put unaware, resistant, neutral, supporting, one more, leading. Stakeholder 1, 2. What is the current engagement level of the stakeholder? Okay, and what is the desired engagement level? What do you desire from current engagement to desired engagement? What do you desire? This is a very important matrix. Let me put it something in the stakeholder topic. After power, interest, greed, this is the most important thing. The stakeholder engagement plan is made on this base. We list down all important stakeholders. We see their current engagement level and all desired engagement level, which can be changed at any particular time, and we manage the strategy in the stakeholder engagement plan. So stakeholder engagement matrix. The last one in this list is text oriented format. So your job descriptions are written in a text oriented format. In that text form, we write it down to represent data. Lesson learn register can be used there. Mostly job descriptions are in this kind of forms. So these were some 11 tools that are important in data representation category, group 3 category. So guys, that's it for today. I hope this video has added value in your life. This video has helped you understand PMP better. Do put your comment and tell me what do you feel about it. Your comments are like oxygen to me. Do like this video and do subscribe the channel if you have not subscribed so far, because my commitment to YouTube is increasing day by day. So I hope you consider it now and you subscribe it. Thank you very much. Bye bye.